I'm Scott Fisher, recording here in New York. Welcome back to Innovator Insights, the show where we peel back the curtain on the ideas and the people reshaping our digital and physical architecture. I'm your host, and today we're diving into a concept that might just change how you perceive the space around you. We spend most of our lives navigating the internet through search bars and silos of apps, but our guests today are building a world where the internet isn't something you go to, it's something you walk through. Joining us is Luigi Junior-Pellella and Luca Scalzotto. Sorry guys if I butchered that. They are part of the visionary team behind Cubish.com, a platform that is remapping digital information onto physical geography. We're going to discuss why the current internet is broken, how we can prevent digital chaos in public spaces, and what a spatial internet actually looks like for the average person. Now, let's get into it. Welcome guys, it's great to have you. Where are you joining us from?
Hello, Scott. Thanks for having us here. I'm Luigi Junior-Pellella, currently head of strategy of Cubish. I am joining from Europe, based in Belgium, in Brussels at the moment.
Terrific. And Luca?
Hi, Scott. I am Luca. I joined from Bologna in Italy, and I lead the development of the web application of Cubish.
Well, thank you both. I appreciate you joining us today. I'm really excited to dive into what we're doing here with Cubish and get some information that we can share with everybody. So maybe give us a little bit of information about your backgrounds and then perhaps a high-level overview of the idea behind Cubish. And then we'll get into some questions I want to ask you.
Absolutely. Well, my background is mostly digital and technology-based. I've been working in many companies, both on consultancy and corporate level, mainly leading projects in terms of project management, of building new softwares and integration among the systems. And I'll give you my idea of Cubish, then I'll leave the word to Luca. Basically, Cubish, we are building a new spatial web solutions, which is something that currently doesn't exist in the market. And our aim is to make everyone interact in a simple way with the physical environment by linking digital contents to physical space.
Excellent. Okay. And Luca, how about you?
I am a software engineer. I've been doing this for 5 years now. Basically, I like research. I've done research with the University of California, Irvine. So this project was kind of perfect to deal more deep into the research field, let's say. To me, Cubish is, let's say, a new way to explore the world because we overlay a new dimension over the classical latitude and longitude. So a new world to explore.
Yeah, this is very exciting. Thank you for sharing that information. So just a few questions that I think maybe as we go through this, everybody will get a little bit better idea of what it is that you're doing and what you're hoping to accomplish here. So to start with, what problem did you see in how the internet works today that made you say, this has to change?
Yeah, I'll take this one. Then Luca, please build up and add more information. So basically what we saw is how today the information is organized and how people look for this information. Every time there is something that people want to look into it or get more information, first thing we do is to go on the internet, start to search for something. And once you perform your research, a lot of results come out and information is not well organized as always. And sometimes you find links which lead to not exactly what you're looking for. What we're trying to do is to change this paradigm. We are not making let's say, the person go to the information, but it's the information coming instead to the customer, to the user itself. And how we do that? We are doing that by linking information into the physical spaces. So this is our vision, something that we saw that was not correctly working in the internet today, because the internet today get us information, but it doesn't make us interact literally with the physical space which is around us. And this is the biggest gap that we saw today. And we want to be the main player to fix this gap and to make people live a new whole experience with the real world.
Interesting. Okay. Luca, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, so basically basically what we do is augment the word with the spatial information, and you can see around your where you find yourself interesting content that you're interested in, and navigating through the world. You basically are exploring this kind of content.
Okay, so I'll just put the question out there, and whoever wants to answer, feel free to respond. So if I'm standing in one spot in the real world, what would Cubish let me see or do that I can't do today?
Again, to link that up with what I was saying before, is let's say that you are in New York, let's say Central Park. Basically, you would see content that other people have created that you might be interested in. So maybe some cool experiences like some 3D animations, or some information that, for example, other people left for you, like as a treasure hunt, or some other experiences that you might want to enjoy.
What about commercial applications? So for example, would I be able to see a local restaurant has information, on a special that they're running that afternoon during lunch or something like that? Do you see this evolving into that as well? Or are you looking strictly from a consumer to consumer or end user to end user basis to start with?
This is also very useful for businesses, governments, and universities. So these are all of the other use cases that we could think of. Businesses could advertise their presence and create some sort of advertisement. University could create some experiences like onboarding, for example, where they guide you through a process of onboarding. And governments could help you, like signaling some sort of some malfunctions, for example, on some road that are blocked, or if there are some problems into the infrastructure.
And Scott, if I may add, which is something interesting, is what you can see today, what you can see with Cubish today that you cannot see before, is you should imagine also Cubish as a social network, social media network, where kind of breaks the current logic of the social media networks we know today. When we go on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, whatever, what we see is a feed that is somehow feeded with our interest, with the contents that people that you're friend with upload, or people that you follow upload. And this content is decided, let's say, by an algorithm that kind of catches your interest. What you will see with Cubish is a feed which is based and is generated according to your surroundings. And the more you move around, the more the feed changes, the more the content you will see on your application will be based according to the surroundings you are in and you're moving in. So coming back to your question, actually Cubish has thousands of potential applications from B2C to B2B, whatever, because everyone in the future will be able to use Cubish to perform basic marketing activities up to complex marketplaces where they can sell real-time things according to, your surroundings. You can buy things directly through the application. We are also aiming to build this kind of experience for the people that are going to use Cubish. So our, let's say, surrounded based feed is something we're proud of, and is something that today is not present in any kind of application.
Not that I'm aware of anyway. So, I guess the thought behind organizing this digital information by a physical place or a location instead of through apps and websites or searches, just what you pointed out, the limitation of being dependent upon an algorithm in an app, let's say, for example, as opposed to being able to just have what's in your environment appear for you automatically, right?
Exactly.
So that being the case, would there be some differentiation between me standing in one spot and certain things that I may have an interest in versus you standing in the same spot next to me? Or are we both going to see the exact same information without any specialized effort to show me what's of interest to me versus what's of interest to you?
Is a good question. Let's say if you're making this question today, so let's say today I would say yes. In the future, we're also building, let's say, how do I say that you link a kind of subject to the content, okay, subject of interest. To make an example, cinema, sport, food, whatever, okay. So for which you will be, let's say, it will be possible in the future to select your interest, and of course, in the feed, it will be show the information related to your interest, to your say your preferences. But still, the content will be based according to your surroundings. And anyway, Cubish doesn't stop you from looking to contents around the world. The application and the website allows you anyway to explore contents around the world, which are not showed into your feed.
Right. So no matter where you are, you can see content from anywhere.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just the feed, which is our point of strength, is just interacts real time with your surroundings, so that you literally see what is around you, and this helps the user to interact with the physical spaces through the digital content.
Yeah, and just to add on this, it's basically based on a weight based given your location, given your interests, given the quality of the content that it's uploaded around you. So it's kind of a combination of all of these parameters that give you the feed for you based on your location.
With geographic location getting the highest weight over the others?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. So now, but you just talked about,
Yeah, you can think of location and then interests and then quality of the content. These are...
Right. So now talking about quality of content, if anyone can attach digital content to real locations, right? How do you stop that from turning into chaos, or for somebody to prevent somebody from posting something completely inappropriate or maybe even illegal or dangerous? Are there controls in place to monitor that and ideally prevent it before it happens, but certainly address it if it happens?
We need to differentiate two things. One is what Luca was saying in terms of, let's say, organized content. So just to give also a better explanation of what Cubish does. Cubish divides the surface of the Earth into cubes. Each cube represents 100 meter square surface of the Earth. And each user in each cube can update some digital information through the cube domains, comparable to a web domain. So someone can purchase a domain and link contents in the domain that are attached to the physical spaces. So in each cube, different different contents may coexist. And this comes back to what Luca was saying in terms of organization of the content, meaning that you should imagine each cube as a small search engine, which algorithm prioritize the quality of the content. So low quality content goes to the bottom, is not shown to the user. High quality content is the one which is prioritized both in the cube, both in your feed. On the other side, you should also understand that at the moment, the responsibility of the content, so the owner of the content is the user itself. So everyone which uploads the content is responsible for the content uploaded. And at the moment, since we are a newly born startup, we are putting in place the right capabilities and algorithms in order to identify, signal these contents, and remove them by the platform. On the other side, is also nice to, let's say, highlight that is a new, literally, business concept, business way of dealing with information. And we are pretty sure that in the future, new laws will come out in order to kind of moderate this market, to moderate this content, because it's something that currently doesn't exist. As in the past, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok were built, there were no laws on it. There was no regulation. And then we saw in the years building up new laws, new rules, and new cases, and so on. And we foresee the same happening for Cubish as well.
So as the product evolves, as the tool
Exactly.
evolves, you'll implement whatever measures are necessary to ensure safety, security, things of that nature, right? Appropriateness
Absolutely.
of content.
Yeah, both automatic and manual if needed.
Okay. So now, if Cubish succeeds, which of course we're all hoping it does, what will feel completely normal in 10 years that sounds strange to us today?
I may go in this one.
Going.
So let's dive into this with an example. So in 15 years, probably smart glasses and other VR equipment is going to be much more widespread. So it's going to feel normal to have this kind of overlay over the real world. What we see today in our phones as photos, videos, audios, and documents, in the future is going to be much more normal to see them attached as an overlay to the real world. And also having the smart glasses is going to augment the experience that Cubish can provide through this localization of information in the real world.
Okay. So at its most basic level, what does Cubish make possible that simply wasn't possible before? I mean, we've talked about what it's going to do and how it's going to impact you based on geography and so forth. But at its most basic level, what is it that you're hoping to accomplish that isn't happening now or that isn't available now? Is it that fully customizable sharing of information based strictly on your location, or is there something more to it than that?
Is a combination of everything what we said. Is a combination of connection between digital and physical in terms of contents. Is a combination of real-time feed, as we said, which is our main point of strength. But our main goal is to create ecosystems. Ecosystems is our, let's say, not arrival point, but is the big starting point for Cubish. And by ecosystem, we can mean any kind of things. We can imagine it as activities performing real-time marketing within the users, always based on surroundings. You can imagine digital marketplaces where basically you can acquire with push notifications. Imagine you passing by a show shop, you receive a push notification through a marketplace to have a 20% discount real time on a shoe, just because you pass by, and Cubish is the enabler of this, let's say, marketing campaign. It can happen any kind of, let's say, usage is literally people interacting with surroundings. This is what will happen tomorrow, and what is already happening today, step by step, while we are building Cubish.
Okay, so now obviously what you're doing or what you're in the process of doing is very innovative in nature, right? It's a completely new concept to a lot of people. So when people first hear about this idea, or for people that are watching this or listening to this and hearing about it for the first time, what is it that they usually misunderstand about Cubish?
So basically, people are used to like walking in 2 dimensions, basically, latitude and longitude. So when we introduce the concept of domains and cubes, the first thought is that when they buy something in our platform, they're going to buy a cube. So the physical location. Instead, what we provide is a multi-layer dimension over a cube. So we propose domains the same way the web uses domain as we know. And when you buy a domain, you basically can attach the information into cubes. So basically, there's a link between a domain and the physical locations. So this is what people usually think. They're not buying the physical place. They're buying a domain,
Of course.
and over that they can put information into some cube in the real world.
Okay, so for example, I've registered a domain already, okay? If somebody else comes along and wants to register a domain in the exact same physical space, they'll be able to do that too. There'll be layers within that physical space that you've allocated. So it's not going to be a race to the finish, like the first person that gets there owns it and everybody else is blocked out, right? They'll be able to have multiple people share.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be clear about that. Okay, so when you first set out to design this or first came up with this concept, who did you originally have in mind as being your customer, so to speak? Who'd you build it for first? And then did that change? Is it somebody else who ended up being, most interested in this concept?
I'll say a thing that I should not say, but I say it anyway.
We love that.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
No, we strongly believe that Cubish is built for everyone. But when you go to some investors or to speak to someone about the business and you say it is for everyone, everybody focuses on why is not a specific market, why is not, and everybody seems scared about it. And we are aware of that. But if we see where the major social platforms arrive today, they are literally built for everyone. And we want to arrive to the same. But we know that in order to achieve this objective, we need to build a strong user base. We need to build, as I was saying before, strong ecosystems, which somehow feed themselves with contents and run their own businesses inside the ecosystems, and also in terms of sharing information among the users. And in order to do that, so we focused our attention. So here we shifted from everyone to public institutions and to municipalities and universities, because we believe that's the key point to, let's say, help these institutions to promote, for example, territories through tourism or through education, in order to start to, first of all, let's say, help already their user base. So it's kind of sharing of the user base, and to start to create domains that can literally build small ecosystem and then start to englobe, to eat, let's say, outside users of the ecosystem, to make the ecosystem itself grow and grow and grow till we have big ecosystems interacting within them and also outside them with other ecosystems. So that's our focus today, where our attention is at the moment, and how we shifted from everyone to a specific target.
Okay, so now you've mentioned the idea of creating an ecosystem or creating a series of small ecosystems that comprise a larger ecosystem, right?
Exactly.
So what point in this process did you realize that what you were working on, or this project of yours, was more than simply just an app, that it was going to be something bigger than that?
Well, pretty much from the start. I mean, if you ask me, pretty much from the start.
So that was the vision. You knew from the beginning that this was not just going to be an app that lives on someone's mobile. It was going to be something more than that.
Yeah, again, it was, well, I view it like more of like a research effort in the first few months. So one of the first things that we've done was basically dividing the word. That was the first, let's say, objective that we posed ourselves, and then we started to build around it. So we started to build the ecosystem, like the web application to host this kind of interactions, and then we started to create the market, and then the mobile app came out, and content generation. So yeah, basically, I was pretty much aware that we had to overcome a lot of adversities, and we still have a lot of them. But yeah, let's say that there's always a bigger mountain to go through.
I mean, I speak to innovators all the time, and you're always going to be met with those obstacles, those things that you have to overcome or work around or work through, whatever the case might be. So that goes with the territory, But in terms of from an innovation perspective, the concept is obviously extremely innovative in itself. But is any of the technology that you're creating or using as part of the larger concept, is it in itself innovative or a new approach than others have used in the past?
Well, the algorithm that we use to, let's say, attach the physical location to some content, that's in itself some innovation. We do have an algorithm that is copyrighted. So yeah, that's the foundation of our solution. And then we built around that, introducing some innovative concepts like domain that we borrowed from the web, and we extended them into this use case. So it's a combination of some innovation on the technical and algorithm perspective, and some innovation on how you use these ingredients to make something different that was never done before.
Okay. So now help me understand this. Let's use the example of my mother-in-law, who is perhaps in her, I'll say mid-70s. I'll be kind to her, okay? And she can barely use her phone now, okay? If I'm lucky, she can text somebody at best, but I'm inevitably getting calls to do tech support for her for just that, okay? Now, I don't envision her being your ideal candidate as an end user of the product. No doubt about that. She's not. I wouldn't suggest it to her. But if I was having a conversation with her about this, or somebody else who isn't technical at all, how would you scale the conversation down or make it understandable to anybody who doesn't necessarily get tech?
I think if you ask to each of Cubish founder this question, you will get all different answers about it. So it's the funny thing is that we all have, let's say, a different way of explaining Cubish, but we all have the same vision, which is something that literally helps us in working together and building Cubish. And if I would explain it myself to, let's say, someone that doesn't get it at the beginning, I like to use the concept, the association of the, let's say, I call it the Google Maps of marketing. If I should explain it to someone which is absolutely not technical, is literally a place, let's say, where to look for information related to what you're looking right now. That is something, is like a digital thing that speaks to you about your surroundings.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, you said if I spoke to any of the others on the team, they would have their own version of that answer. So let's try that. Okay. Luca, what would your response to that question be? In other words, trying to explain it to a non-technical person.
Yeah, I have a technical background, so it's kind of
it's hard for you to think that way. Yeah.
out of my
feet.
So one sec.
All right, how about well, no, I don't want to say a child, because a child is very technically fluent these days, but.
Actually, we did I'll try to answer this in a different way.
Okay.
So we did an interview with a child of 9 years, and we tried to explain to him what the platform is doing and what we offer. And during this interview was pretty simple to get him up to speed with what we're doing, and he was able to participate in the conversation and understood what we were doing well. So that shows that what we do is accessible to everyone, and everyone could use it.
Okay. Now, aside from the 9-year-old that you introduced this to, you obviously have other people using the product. So what surprised you the most after people started using it? What did they come back to you and say that you didn't expect them to say, whether it be positive or negative? Did you get feedback or information back that you just weren't expecting?
Absolutely, Scott. The most, and I think Luca can agree with me, let's say, surprising stuff was, and we are still realizing it, is how complex it is to build the idea of Cubish into a smooth and simple user experience. That's what we saw, we got as feedback, and we are working also now at the moment in order to improve the user experience. But all the concept of explaining to a new user of Cubish that the world is divided into cubes and that you're not purchasing the cube, but the domain into the cube, how to upload contents, how they work in the feed, is something that we are facing now. We built, of course, let's say a basic user experience that for digital native user is quite simple to use. But even with some users we were expecting more simple usability from them, we got this kind of feedback. So in terms of a lot of things can be, let's say, improved. So that's what mostly, surprised us in terms of feedback. We are 100% aware that as every application needs improvement and needs to stay, let's say, at the same pace of the users. So the application will always evolve in the present and in the future as well. But on the other side, what also surprised us is that if you go on the website of Cubish.com and you go on the Explorer basically allows you to see. So you basically have the whole world and you can play around. And it allows you to see where all the domains are registered. And we didn't expect actually to have domains spread all around the world. We have domains in Japan, domains in the US, in Europe, in Africa as well. So like literally we were surprised by how Cubish spread around the world. And this is something that we like a lot because it also confirms the, let's say, the initial theory that is literally built for everyone. So that's what's quite surprising as well, to be honest.
So your original expectation, yeah, I'm sure it is exciting, and I'm sorry to talk over you, but so your original expectation, you didn't anticipate the global appeal of this, or you didn't? I just want to follow up on that point that you just made there.
Of course, we're not speaking about thousands or millions of domains. We are still speaking in terms of hundreds of domains, which is still a good results. Let's say like this. We were expecting this, but not, let's say, after just some months up from the launch.
Right.
So we were expecting, also considering that most of us are Europe-based, all of us actually are Europe-based. We were expecting to have something like a grip on the European market. Initially, of course, since all of us are Italians, Italy is the main, let's call it like this, European market. But we see also like all around the world, the information about Cubish has spread and is something like Luca was saying, quite exciting because it shows a lot of potential and we're just literally started at the beginning. So we're quite proud of that.
Yeah, and if I could add on this,
Sure.
what surprised me the most is how, well, I'll take another approach to this question. So what surprised me is how a group of people that come from a different background and from different parts of Italy could come together and realize this and create this product. So that was very surprising to me because we basically didn't know each other. We work remotely, so it's difficult to coordinate in this kind of scenario. So it is quite surprising to me that we were able to accomplish all of this.
Well, that interesting. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. About the walkthrough instructions, it is something that we are constantly revising so that it gets smoother over time. So we are aware that when you appeal to a lot of different audiences, you have to kind of walk them through the use cases of your application, and that is something that we are working constantly to improve that, so that everyone that logs in into the platform knows what he or she has to do.
Right. Okay. So just to back up a moment, because you touched on something that really piqued my interest, and I think is information that people that would be listening to this or watching this would be interested in. The process of you coming together, okay? Because this is a new innovation, and you are a group of innovators. Talk to me about how you came together and what that process was like in terms of getting everybody on board and the actual process of working together so that everybody's voice was heard without one person sort of taking charge and pushing their ideas on the others.
Yeah, I think all the, let's say, all the merit about this is to be given to the main founder of Cubish, which is Dorian Lazzari, which is also the owner of the idea. And he literally did a great job because he created this kind of scheme. So we all worked in a work for equity mode. And he literally went straight as a train to find all potential people interested in the project through LinkedIn. So each of us was contacted via LinkedIn by Dorian, and he made a call with each one of us and explaining, of course, the idea of Cubish. And he found each of our profile according to the organization that today still Cubish has. Will probably evolve in the future, but just to make it clear, today Cubish is divided in different compartments, different departments. We have the development department, we have the communication department, we have the strategy department, the law department, and each, let's say, department has a certain amount of people for which Dorian identified the correct person through different calls and peak of interest from the other person in participating in the project. And then we were splitted since the beginning into groups, departments, to work each of us with specific, let's say, of course, objectives and tasks. Just to make an example at the basic, origins of Cubish, me as part of the strategy department, we developed, let's say, the blueprint, the document to provide to the team of Luca to develop the application today. So it was a continuous way of interacting among departments, coordinated by the central figure of Dorian. So he was like the linking point among departments in order to share all the information to reach each step, each task of Cubish. So that's how Cubish started at the beginning. And it was quite, of course, difficult at the beginning because we all work remotely. We don't have a physical office that we see each other every day. We rely on quick messages. We rely on short meetings among the week when we all have, let's say, Cubish is our side job. So we all have our current jobs. We dedicate a lot of our free time in building Cubish in order to reach our aims and to make literally Cubish a great company one day. So everything started with a centralized control of each departments, which were developing and working on different tasks and working among each other. And of course, each of us now has a part of equity of the company according to the workload and to the let's say value that has been brought to Cubish. And that's how we are still working today, which is quite balancing among all of us.
Yeah, I think that what you described is probably common amongst people that are creating new products or creating new companies. I think you went through a lot of the same things that everybody goes through. But if you had, just to keep it brief, if each of you had a word of advice for anybody who's thinking of doing something like this or developing a new product or a new tool, just a word of advice for innovators, and also a word of caution for innovators that you might want to, help people learn from your experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to say, first of all, to never stop at the first no that you receive. So a lot of people at the beginning, especially when you have an MVP product, which is not perfect, will somehow doubt about your idea, doubt about your product. You will have probably not even the correct market to look at. So never give up. Always continue, go straight. Speaking about personally and about Cubish, we received a lot of no. We received a lot of negative feedbacks, but we are pretty sure that our idea will succeed. We will go further. So should not stop when you see things not going as expected. And on the other side, to be cautious, I'd say, of course, there should be a rationale behind the idea. So to be cautious, of course, but at the same time, what we are learning also among working with each other is to not wait too much to do things. So make that call, send that message. Don't be scared about contacting people. Don't be scared about giving that extra information. Just don't stall too much time that you're dedicated to the project in not performing things. Just try and then somehow get on a new way, on a new road. So always you need to steer according to what you've done. It's a trial and error process for which you should always be, let's say, aware of the risks, but also you should be able to face them and understand that things can be changed. So change things when current things are not working. And this, I think, is the best advice I can give to anyone who wants to start a project, and something that we are facing as well today, and is literally helping us in taking decisions, in shaping ideas, in shaping the future of Cubish, and everything that is concerned to the project.
Great advice. How about you, Luca? Anything you'd like to offer up in terms of advice for new innovators, or not just new innovators, but people who have innovative ideas that they're looking to bring to market?
Yeah, basically be prepared to work hard and be tenacious.
There you go.
It's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be exciting. Also be aware of the feedbacks that you receive from the real world, and iterate on your idea, basically. So prepare to work hard and iterate as fast as you can, so you can get a better product out there.
Also great advice. Thank you. All right, I have one last question that I'm going to put out there that I'd like both of you to answer if you don't mind. And the question is simply this: if this all disappeared tomorrow, right? Cubish itself or whatever, what part of this idea that you're developing do you hope that the world would keep building on, even if Cubish didn't come to be?
I think Luca agrees with me. We hope to not disappear.
Of course.
But no, personally, I think that the idea of linking the physical to the digital and vice versa is also the main pillar of Cubish, and is something that you don't see today. And I believe that that's what I would like to be somehow still building the world without us, let's say like this. And physical and digital connection, I would say that's what I would hope that the world will keep on doing. We are at the moment where we should shift our experiences, not only in the digital world, but should start to link them and merge them with the physical surroundings.
Okay. And how about you, Luca?
What I would like to be around, that could stay around, is a different way of prioritizing information, rather than the ones that we're used to based on attention. Something that it's more curated on your interests, or your location, or something different, that it's something that it's going to make you click on the content. So a different way of prioritizing information, basically more curated for you than the attention that you can provide to the platform.
Okay.
Like,
Well,
I don't know
thank
if
you.
that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. It really does. And I thank you both very much. I appreciate your time today. So that was Luigi and Luca from Cubish. So it's rare to talk to people who aren't just trying to build a better app, but is effectively trying to add a new sensory layer to the entire planet. Whether you're a business owner, a student, or just someone curious about how we'll navigate cities in 2035, the work being done at Cubish.com is definitely something to keep on your radar. If today's episode sparked a new idea or changed how you looked at your neighborhood, please share it. One last reminder, if you enjoyed the episode, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and give this video a like. Please be sure to check out Cubish.com and both gentlemen on LinkedIn as well. We'll include some links to the product and the site on our show notes. And for podcast listeners, keep in mind that your reviews are the lifeblood of this show and help us grow. You can find more episodes at deep dives at innovatorinsights.io. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Scott Fisher, and we'll see you at the next frontier.